Alright, so we're going to start out in child's pose because it's a lovely place to begin. A nice restful posture that allows you to kind of come straight to your breath and bring your awareness onto your mat ahead of your practice. Before we begin, this flow is going to be working into your core and your upper body. So some strengthening drills, working into tricep strength and core strength. But yeah, basically fitness yoga. So less about the flow in this tutorial and more about repetitions of movements that you can then take into your usual yoga. So more yoga flows. So it is going to be tough work. You might do more reps, you might do less reps, but just listen to your body and rest whenever you need to. If you are brand new to yoga, then I will always cue an entry beginner level version first. That's what you can stick to if you're happy to. And then take your time but progress when you're ready. So for instance, a Chaturanga tricep press. If you begin by taking it from your knees, then when you feel ready and when you feel like you've got that core strength and the upper body strength to do so, you can then progress to doing it from your toes. That is just one example. I will always do my best to show you the easier, more entry level variations first, but just the best thing to do is to listen to your body. If something feels too tough, try and draw it back in a little bit. I know it's super tempting to push yourself and to get competitive with yourself when you're training, but yoga is certainly about your well-being and just making sure that you look after yourself whilst you work out. Okay, so starting out with child's pose, like we said. So sitting back against your heels, your toes can come together and you're going to walk your hands out to the top of your mat, melting your chest down, the forehead down, and then breathe deeply here. So you're starting in this restful posture, finding a great stretch through the shoulders, lengthening through the spine, maybe closing into the eyes and just allowing the forehead to rest down. Focusing on that breath, maybe counting in for 3, holding at the top, and then counting out for 3. Now you don't have to keep your breath that strict throughout your practice, just breathe easy, whatever comes to you. But always know that it's good to come back to your breath in times of difficulty, or if a pose feels super hard, just make sure you're not holding your breath. And as best you can, try and flow with your breath. So as you inhale, let's flow upwards into your tabletop position. So your hands are going to come underneath your shoulders. Your hips are going to stack over your knees. And we're going to tuck the toes under and just start to stretch into the feet. So sitting back against the heels, flexing into the feet. You can wiggle around here, find a bit of movement. And then move back forwards and tuck the toes. Starting with your wrist circles. So we always begin with a wrist warm-up because it's so important to protect your wrists when you're doing exercises through them. So planks, downward dog, tabletop, this, everything. And it's so easy to keep the fingers together and dump all the weight smack bang into your wrist. You want to spread so wide into the hands that you're evenly distributing the weight through the palm and almost feel like you're trying to grip the yoga mat. Okay, and also creating like an L shape between your forefinger and your thumb allows you to grip the mat even more. So a couple of circles here gently warms up the wrists. And then change your direction. Go anti-clockwise or clockwise, depending which way you began. Alright, and then to deepen the stretch. Fingertips come out to the outer edges of your mat and start to move left to right. So all the while just warming up the wrists, starting to bring some movement to the body. And then the third stretch for your wrists is if you sit back against your heels, you're going to send the fingertips outwards and then in towards your knees and bring the palms down. Now this one's quite intense, so just move gently into it, try not to force a stretch. And then moving forwards and backwards. So that's finding a deeper flexion through the wrists. Good. And you can alternate between those three movements now. So the circles in tabletop, the sideway flexion, and front and back flexion. And by all means, you've got freedom here to find all kinds of stretches. You can rotate the hands inwards and move around loads of different ways that you can stretch the wrists. And then the best thing known to wrists is, well, that's kind of a bold statement, but a counter stretch. So the back of the hands coming together and just lightly press so that you're stretching your wrist the other way. We spend a lot of time with the wrist like this, so to counteract it, like this. Okay, a couple of gentle little circles through the wrists. And maybe, if you want to, you can bring the back of the hands down and find the joint of the wrist, the arm, to meet the mat, and sit back a little bit. So if at any point, whilst you're flowing through your yoga flows or practicing your yoga, if you do notice that your wrists feel a little bit sore, you can just roll them out. Take a rest. Alright, starting from your child's pose position, we are going to roll up through the spine and come straight into a Chaturanga Press. So from your knees, nice and easy to begin, press down, hover above your mat, and then push up and press back. Repeating that for 10 reps. Down for 2, push up and press back. So you're starting to build the heat through the triceps, through the shoulders, and aligning it with your breath. Try and always look forward, not like me. Good. Okay, now sit back into your child's pose, rest it for a moment, and then this time inhale as you roll up through the spine. You're going to tuck your toes under and lift to your downward dog. Okay, take a couple of seconds to just roll out the legs, tread them out left and right. Find a nice stretch. Melting the chest down towards your mat, getting a good stretch through the shoulders. Okay, inhale, we're going to roll forward all the way to high plank. Draw the belly in, draw the belly button up towards the spine, and your wrists are stacked underneath your shoulders. Exhale, press it on back. Inhale, roll forwards. We're going to move through this fluidly 10 times. Exhale, press back. Okay, setting the knees down and sitting back into your child's pose. Alright, so next up we've got some plank to side plank drills. So shifting your weight from 2 arms into 1, building that stabilising strength through your shoulders and your arms. Okay, so starting off in your plank position, so nice and strong, you're going to tip your weight, not tip, you're going to pivot on your feet until you're on the outer edge of your right foot, inner edge of your left. Left arm is going to come up to the sky and you're rooting down into your right hand and stabilising through your right shoulder. So nice and strong here. Draw in the core and you're trying to pull that hip upwards to the sky. Breathe here for 1, 2 and 3. Bring the left hand down, come back to your plank. All right, opposite side. So pivot on the feet, take the right hand to the sky, stabilizing strong for your left hand, left shoulder, strong in your core. And 1, bring the right hand down, come back to your plank. Okay, take it to the down dog and tread out the feet. Alright, next up is your Dolphin Press. So we're going to start this from a downward dog and dropping onto our forearms, building that tricep strength. So beginning here in your down dog, driving into the heels of the feet and really pressing into the palms. Now you want to make sure that your hands are about shoulder width, and from this position you're going to drop the elbows down, come onto your forearms. Okay, spread wide into the hands and then push up with both. Press back. Okay, down for 1, up for 1, down for 2, up for 2. Let's go to 10. Moving through those 10 reps. And breathe. Bring the knees down and sit back to child's pose. Alright, and now for a forearm plank to side forearm plank. So starting out from your forearms. So your elbows are stacked underneath your shoulders and your toes have come out lengthwise, long on your mat. So you're starting here in this forearm plank, nice and strong. Okay, you're going to rotate, you're going to pivot onto the right side, bring the right arm in, left hand comes up, similar to our normal plank, but here in forearm plank. So thread the needle. Left hand is going to come all the way down, thread underneath for 1. Let's go for 10, 2, 3, good. Okay, after 10, bring that left hand down, come back into your forearm plank. Good work. Right arm comes up and you've got 10 reps. Thread the needle for 2, 3, 4. And come back to your forearm plank, hold it here. Well done. Okay, we're going to come back to Chaturanga now. So practicing either from your knees or from your toes and building that strength in your triceps, making sure that we wrap the triceps in past the rib cage. So from here, like we did before, you can hover the knees down, wrap the triceps in, make sure your hands are directly underneath your chest, and then bend, bringing the elbows towards the body. Hover down all the way and then press up. Now you want to take your hips with you rather than leaving your bum sticking back. So try not to leave the bum up as you press down. You're going to hinge forward and then so squeeze your core and then take the entire body down and push up. 5. Want to work from your toes for your tricep press, then same principles. You want to align your hands underneath your shoulders, come into your high plank. Okay, so strong core here, float over the wrists, wrap the core in, tricep press, halfway down, and then push up. Okay, wherever your Chaturanga practice is, just trying to do as many rounds, as many reps as you can of this movement, just building that heat in your triceps and in your shoulders. So now for a few stretches, just to close up your practice, strengthening your arms. So if you come to lie on your front on your mat, and we're going to take our arms out to the sides. So toes can just point away, and you're going to bring your arms out straight to either side of you. You can rest your forehead down. So to start with, spread into your left hand and press into your right. So you're going to lightly press up, stretch through that left shoulder, and your right foot can just prop up and support you. So all that stretch is going through my left shoulder right now. I can rest down my forehead. This wants to feel quite easy. It doesn't want to feel forced or too intense. Okay, inhale. Come back to lying on your front. And switch sides. So taking your right arm directly out behind you, pressing into your left, and lift into your left foot. You can prop yourself up, feel that stretch through your right shoulder, and you can lightly rest the head down. And breathe here. Good. Inhale. Come back to the mat. Just use your hands to press up and back to your child's pose. Okay, so now just stretching out for the arms. We've stretched out your shoulders. We're now going to come into puppy stretch. So I've grabbed a couple of blocks because I've got them. If you do have yoga bricks, that's fine, blocks. If not, you could use a couple of books, stack them up so that they're even height, or maybe even a step of some kind. But it's just optional. You can elevate this stretch to get a deeper stretch. But I will show you first of all without any props. Okay, so your puppy stretch is very similar to your child's pose in that you are going to have your hips over your knees and then take your hands further forwards. So melting the chest down towards your yoga mat and find a really lovely stretch through the shoulders. Allow the heart to melt down. Leaving the hips high so they're just above the knees. Okay, if that's a good enough stretch for you, that's great. Otherwise, you can bring in your props. So I'm going to use these two yoga blocks. Hands on top. You can slide them forwards until you find your stretch. Once again, melt the heart down. Now this is more intense with that elevation, so just take it easy. And then when you're done, step them back in and sit back. I hope you all found this video really helpful, or even if it's just added a little bit of inspiration to your current practice. But yeah, the drills in this video will hopefully start to help you build your upper body strength. So working on stuff that you find really challenging. For me, it is, of course, tricep press-ups, but it's good to work on things that we find really tough. So I hope this video has given you a little bit of inspiration on how you can factor in fitness drills in between your yoga flows and other practices, and it can build up your strength for your practice as well. Thank you so much for flowing with me today or practicing with me, and I hope that you found it useful, and if there's anything else that you would like to see on the channel, then please request it. That would be amazing, and it would be really appreciated because it helps us to expand our channel and help more people. Okay, have a wonderful day. See you next time.